Chosen One, this message reaches you not by chance, but through the sacred tapestry of the cosmos, guided by invisible hands that always know the precise moment your spirit is prepared to embrace it. It is not merely another fleeting noise lost in the world's clamor, but a divine call meant to stir something profound within you. Some live their entire lives never grasping the significance of their existence. But then there are those born unique, marked, targeted, observed. If you're a chosen one, you understand the feeling of constant battle, even when nothing in the physical realm explains it. You felt pressure before the promise, resistance before the ascent, darkness before guidance. That's not by chance. You didn't just wake up one day under siege. You were born into a war zone. The moment you entered this world, alert sounded in the spiritual realm. Your soul bore something ancient, something prophetic. Because of that, both heaven and hell have watched you from the very start. This isn't just your story. It's the cause of the war raging in the unseen. Let's break it down. 7 chapters that unveil the truth about the war you sparked in the spirit realm. Before we proceed, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. This message is for the chosen ones who felt the fire of spiritual warfare and never understood why, until now. If this message strikes your soul, leave the number 77 in the comments. That's not just a number. It's a spiritual code, a sign that you're awakening to your true identity, aligning with divine purpose, and ready to walk boldly through the war that began because of you. Only the truly chosen will reach the end. Because this message isn't surface level, it's a spiritual transmission. Those who stay will gain clarity, strength, and confirmation that the battle they fought in silence was never in vain. Every time you revisit this message, another layer will unfold. So return as often as needed. Each listen will awaken a deeper part of the warrior within you. Let's start. Chapter 1. The Mark of the Chosen. You weren't chosen the day you triumphed. You were chosen long before you could spell your own name. Long before you took your first step. Your life held weight in the unseen. You didn't earn it. You didn't seek it. It was simply who you are. You were marked not by humans, but by the Most High. That mark wasn't visible to the human eye, but it resounded loudly in the spirit realm. Heaven knew you. Hell knew you. Before you even grasped your purpose, both realms were already at war over you. You've always felt different. Even when you laughed with others, something inside stayed apart. Even when you tried to conform, your soul resisted. You didn't understand why certain places drained you, why you couldn't accept mediocrity, why shallow friendships never lasted. It was because your spirit wasn't wired for the ordinary. You were created to disrupt patterns of darkness and carry the light of divine calling. As a child, you sensed things. You saw through people. You felt energies others missed. You had dreams that felt like prophecies, visions that kept you awake at night. That wasn't your imagination. That was your gift revealing itself before the world told you to suppress it. The mark you bear is spiritual authority. It's the echo of legacy in your bones. It's the weight of generations that prayed for your arrival. It's the divine proof that you're assigned to shake foundations, shift atmospheres, and bring light where others embraced darkness. That's exactly why you became a target. The enemy doesn't waste energy on those who pose no threat. He doesn't attack the ordinary. He targets the anointed, the chosen, the called, the dangerous. And you're dangerous to the kingdom of darkness just by being. Your voice carries fire. Your steps break demonic cycles. Your presence alone shatters generational curses. That's why the attacks came early. That's why you faced battles others couldn't endure. That's why people turned against you without cause. The enemy saw your potential before you did and tried to stop you before you even began. But what hell didn't expect was that the mark on your life wasn't just a target. It was a covenant. Heaven has guarded you from the start. You're not paranoid. You're not imagining it. That's spiritual warfare. It's not drama. It's divine resistance. The fight you've felt your whole life isn't because of where you are. It's because of where you're going. And now you're awakening. You're remembering. You're stepping into the truth you've always sensed in your spirit. You were chosen not to blend in, but to stand out. Not to survive quietly, but to lead boldly. The mark has always been there. And now it's time to embrace it with honor. Because once you accept who you are, the real battle begins. And so does the victory that's already yours. Chapter 2, the assignment that shakes both realms. You weren't sent here to live an ordinary life. You didn't arrive on this earth to fit in, check boxes, or merely survive. You were sent with divine orders, a mission that resonates beyond time. Your assignment was written in the heavens long before you took your first breath. And that assignment shakes both realms, heaven and hell. You carry spiritual authority not given by humans. It was breathed into you by God. That authority isn't loud or flashy. It's quiet, heavy, and powerful. You walk with weight in the spirit. Your prayers shift realms. Your presence disrupts principalities. You are the answer to prayers your ancestors wept through generations of pain. Your calling didn't start with you. It flows through you. This is why you feel the intensity. This is why life hasn't been normal for you. You're not facing ordinary resistance because you're not on an ordinary path. Heaven is rallying behind you to bring your destiny to fruition. And hell is launching relentless attacks to stop it, because your assignment threatens structures. It dismantles demonic patterns. It exposes lies and ignites truth. You may think you're just trying to survive the week, pay bills, heal from betrayal, or plan your next move. But the spirit realm knows better. You're not just surviving. You're governing. You are spiritual authority in motion. If this message resonates deeply in your heart, open up in the comments and share the season you're going through right now. Your story could inspire, encourage, and set someone else free. Take a moment to like others' comments to show your support. Respond to them with words of encouragement. Your words can become a powerful light, a healing balm to soothe their wounds, and a gentle companion on this sacred journey you're walking together. You carry an anointing that sparks change even in silence. Your obedience causes disruption. Your healing breaks cycles. Your faith awakens the sleeping. Your rise is a spiritual alarm. That's why you face so much confusion and warfare around clarity. That's why distractions seem endless. That's why people abandon you right when you're stepping into alignment. The enemy isn't afraid of who you were. He's terrified of who you're becoming. Because when you walk in purpose, you walk in power. And that power breaks contracts in the unseen. Generational curses, ancestral trauma, strongholds that have bound entire families. Every step you take toward your assignment creates a ripple effect. Your yes to purpose echoes in eternity. Your alignment with divine will sends angels into action and demons fleeing. Your fasting, your prayer, your focus, your healing. None of it is wasted. It's all spiritual strategy. You've likely wondered, why does my life feel like a war zone? It's because you are launching something. You are birthing something in the spirit that both heaven and hell are watching closely. And depending on your choices, entire timelines shift. People watch you now, but the spirit realm has watched since birth. You are not here to merely exist. You're here to activate, to ignite, to lead, to shift. You're the bridge between what was and what will be. And every time you choose truth over fear, purpose over comfort, alignment over convenience, you advance the kingdom. So don't diminish your journey. Don't belittle your process. Your assignment is why the battle is so fierce, but it's also why the victory will be undeniable. Because when a chosen one rises, the spirit realm takes notice and nothing remains the same. Chapter 3. The attacks that didn't make sense until now. You've been attacked when you had nothing. Betrayed by those you trusted, overlooked in rooms you were more than qualified to lead. You've sat in silence wondering, what did I do to deserve this? The depression struck out of nowhere. The isolation didn't fit the moment. You weren't perfect. But the pain felt too specific, too targeted, too deep, like you were being punished for simply existing. But none of it was random. Every storm, every heartbreak, every door that closed in your face had a deeper root. You just didn't see it then. The truth is, those attacks weren't about your past. They were warnings about your future. Hell saw what was coming long before you did. The demons that came for you weren't reacting to your present. They were trying to stop your becoming. What you thought was failure was spiritual resistance. Not from God, but from darkness that saw your light. The kind of light that couldn't be ignored. The kind of light that breaks strongholds, heals bloodlines, and shifts generations. You weren't crazy. You were chosen. And chosen ones face preemptive attacks. Before you stepped fully into purpose, the enemy tried to bury you under confusion, fear, addiction, loneliness, shame, and delay. Because if you ever truly awakened to your identity, you'd destroy every lie he told you. If you ever truly healed, you'd lead others to healing. If you ever stepped into authority, you'd take territory not meant to stay in enemy hands. Think about it. Who attacks someone going nowhere? Demons don't waste energy. They don't fixate on the ordinary. They target threats. They target voices that carry truth. They target warriors who can't be bought. They target those marked by God to change the narrative. And you, chosen one, are that threat. That season when everything collapsed. That wasn't just a bad chapter. It was a spiritual assault, an attempt to make you give up before you even started. But here's the twist. You didn't fold. You didn't break as they expected. You kept going. Even if you had to crawl, even if you cried yourself to sleep, even if you felt alone, you didn't quit. And that's why the shift is coming. That's why breakthrough is near. Because you've passed the test where most give up. You kept your faith when it made no sense. You kept walking even when the path disappeared. And heaven is about to honor what you endured in silence. So no, those attacks weren't meaningless. They were the enemy's desperate attempt to stop something divine from rising. And now that divine thing is rising. It's you. You're not stepping into purpose. You're stepping into prophecy. And all of hell knows it. Chapter 4. The role of angels in your journey. You've felt protected in situations you shouldn't have survived. You've walked out of places others didn't escape. You've avoided disasters you didn't even know were forming behind you. You've encountered coincidences that changed your path entirely. But looking back now, you know that wasn't chance. That wasn't luck. That was divine orchestration. That was the presence of angels. Long before you were aware of your assignment, heaven had already assigned guardians to your life. When your purpose was spoken into existence in the spirit realm, angels were sent to walk beside you, fight for you, guide you, and protect you. You were never alone. Even when you felt abandoned, isolated, rejected, or forgotten by people, heaven kept watch over you constantly. Some of your hardest battles weren't meant to be fought in the physical. They were spiritual wars waged in unseen dimensions. And while you were sleeping, crying, or questioning your worth, divine warriors were fighting for your future. You have no idea how many accidents were thwarted, how many plots were overturned, how many traps were exposed and dismantled without you ever knowing. You've had days when your strength made no sense, nights when you couldn't pray but still woke with peace, moments when the right person appeared, the right word was spoken. The path just shifted and you didn't understand why. Now you do. That's divine assistance. That's the ministry of angels. But here's what most don't realize. Angels aren't just protectors. They are partners. They walk with purpose. They carry divine blueprints. They don't just watch your life. They're invested in your mission. They respond to purpose. They activate around alignment. When you start walking boldly in your calling, when you stop shrinking, when you say yes to what God designed you to do, they draw closer. The more you align, the more they surround, and their presence becomes undeniable. Ideas start to flow. Strength grows. Clarity sharpens. Doors that were locked suddenly open. You're not imagining it. Heaven moves with you when you move in obedience. Angels aren't mythical beings floating in clouds. They are real, assigned, intentional, and present. Some appear as strangers, friends, mentors, delivering a message or miracle at the exact moment you need it. Others fight in silence, battling principalities that try to delay your destiny. You've been spared from breakdowns, heartbreaks, even death itself. Not because you were lucky, but because you were chosen. And make no mistake, when hell escalates its attacks, heaven escalates its reinforcements. You've reached a point in your journey where spiritual maturity is required. And part of that maturity is recognizing who walks with you. You're not just one person pushing through pain. You're a vessel surrounded by heavenly forces. Forces that move when you move in truth. Forces that respond when you walk in faith. Forces that aren't here just to help you survive, but to help you dominate. Because this war isn't just about protection anymore. It's about execution. It's about walking in divine authority. And angels don't babysit purpose. They accelerate it. So trust that nudge. Follow that instinct. Pay attention to the peace that comes when you choose obedience. That's heaven's agreement with your assignment. That's confirmation you're never walking alone. That's the role of angels in your journey. Not just to guard your life, but to fuel your destiny. Chapter 5. The devil knows your name and fears it. This chapter isn't meant to frighten you. It's meant to awaken you because, whether you realize it or not, hell knows exactly who you are. The devil knows your name. Not because you're perfect. Not because you've always had it together, but because you are a threat to darkness. Because what you carry is disruptive. Because your very existence challenges everything the enemy has tried to build. He knew who you were before you did. He saw your anointing before you learned how to use it. He recognized the call on your life while you were still trying to survive childhood. He studied the favor on your bloodline and plotted to corrupt it. From the moment you took your first breath, an alarm sounded in the spirit realm. You've been watched ever since. That's why the attack on your identity was so fierce. That's why you faced betrayal, abandonment and trauma early. He hoped you'd break before you awakened, hoped you'd drown in pain before you discovered your power. Every toxic relationship wasn't random. Every delay wasn't by chance. Every moment of temptation, confusion, and chaos was strategically placed to keep you stuck, insecure, and silent. But guess what? It didn't work because you kept rising, broken but breathing, wounded but wiser, fragile but still faithful. And now you're waking up. Now you're aligning. Now you're moving in purpose. And the enemy knows the clock is ticking. He knows every step you take toward your destiny, every lie you overcome, every layer of healing you embrace is another nail in his agenda. That's why the warfare intensified. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're finally doing something right. Because you're no longer blind to your calling. Because you're no longer entangled in dysfunction. If this message resonates deeply in your heart, open up in the comments and share the season you're going through right now. Your story could inspire, encourage, and set someone else free. Take a moment to like others' comments to show your support. Respond to them with words of encouragement. Your words can become a powerful light, a healing balm to soothe their wounds, and a gentle companion on this sacred journey you're walking together. Because you're no longer begging for human love when heaven has already chosen you. You've become a moving threat to the kingdom of darkness, and hell is nervous. See, the enemy doesn't waste resources. He's not sending legions after those spiritually asleep. He's not attacking those who pose no threat. He fights those who are rising. Those called to lead, to heal, to break chains, to shift culture, to awaken others. And you are one of them. You were never meant to live hidden, broken, or small. You were born to shake kingdoms, to carry revelation, to disrupt generational patterns. And now that you're stepping into it, the enemy tries to distract you with noise, fear, anxiety, self-doubt, and drama. But you're starting to see it for what it is: desperation. The enemy knows once you fully embrace who you are, nothing can stop you. He fears your voice. He fears your prayers. He fears your discipline. He fears your obedience. Because one fully awakened chosen one can do more damage to the kingdom of darkness than 1,000 lukewarm souls. So when you feel the pressure mounting, when attacks come back to back, when it feels like everything is pulling you back, remember this. You are feared not for your past, but for your future. The devil knows your name, but more importantly, he knows your potential. He knows that if you keep going, keep healing, keep listening to that still divine voice inside, you will become unstoppable. And guess what? You already are. Chapter 6. You're the bridge between realms. You've always felt caught in the middle, like you didn't fully belong anywhere. Too spiritual for the worldly crowd, too real for the religious ones. You felt things others ignored. You saw truths they missed. You carried burdens that didn't start with you. That's because you weren't meant to blend in. You were born to bridge worlds. You are the link between generations, the break in a bloodline of cycles, pain, silence, and suppression. You are the one heaven chose to stand in the gap, to stop what destroyed those before you, to start what others lacked the faith to build. The darkness tried to pull you back, but the light refused to let you go. Because the war over your life isn't casual, it's generational. It's eternal. It's divine. Your presence in this world is a portal. You are a spiritual gate. Through you, healing enters your family. Through you, new patterns are born. Through you, revelation flows. What you say, how you walk, the choices you make, they don't just affect you. They ripple across realms. You were chosen to be the first in your bloodline to rise. The first to break free. The first to return to divine alignment. That's not a small role. That's why the pressure is so intense. That's why the battle feels so personal, because it is. The enemy doesn't just want to stop you. He wants to stop what comes through you. He knows that if you become fully aligned, fully aware, and fully surrendered, the spiritual traffic flowing through your life will disrupt his entire system. And heaven knows it too. That's why you've been protected. That's why you've been preserved even in your darkest hours. Not because you were perfect, but because you were positioned to rebuild broken places, to restore what was stolen, to reconnect heaven and earth in ways most can't see. That quiet voice inside that told you you were different, that wasn't your ego. That was your spirit recalling its origin. You've always been connected to more insight, more depth, more truth. You've always stood at the edge of something greater. And the moment you chose to move forward instead of turning back, that bridge activated. Suddenly your life wasn't just about you. It became a channel. That's why things shifted. That's why people changed. That's why your atmosphere grew heavier, because your spirit stepped into its true assignment. You are a bridge between pain and purpose, between what was and what will be, between ancestral wounds and spiritual restoration. You are the interpreter of divine messages for earthly minds. You are the crossing point between dimensions. And every time you pray, speak truth, choose love, or walk in alignment, both realms take notice. Don't underestimate yourself just because others couldn't see your role. Don't shrink because others didn't grasp your weight. You were never meant to be small. You were meant to span realms. You were born to close the gap between heaven and earth. And now that you know who you are, nothing can stay the same. You're not just walking through life. You're altering atmospheres. You're not just surviving. You're shifting timelines. You're not just healing. You're restoring generations. Every time you say yes to truth, yes to discipline, yes to love, the bridge strengthens, the flow increases, and your legacy expands. You are the bridge, and you were born to carry what no one else could. Chapter 7. The war confirms the weight. Chosen one. If you've ever doubted your value, just look at the size of the war waged against your soul. That alone tells you all you need to know. Heaven and hell don't fight over anything ordinary. They don't battle over the average. The war confirms the weight. The intensity of your attacks proves the intensity of your assignment. You are carrying something powerful, disruptive, aligned with divine purpose. And that's why spiritual forces are working against you. This war wasn't caused by your failures. It's because of your calling. From the time you were a child, forces formed around you. Before you even knew your name, your purpose was targeted by hell's armies. You weren't attacked because you were weak. You were attacked because you were chosen. And the enemy wanted to stop you before you could realize your power. The abandonment, the loss, the betrayals, it all had a root in the realm you couldn't see. Both kingdoms knew what you carried. And as you began waking up, realigning and remembering who you are, the warfare intensified. Not to destroy you, but to delay you. But look at you now, still here, still rising, still healing, still walking, still choosing light. That's not weakness. That's warrior strength. That's divine resilience. You've earned your crown through silence, struggle, and surrender. And now it's time to wear it. You are the chosen one. Not because you were the loudest or most qualified, but because you were willing. Willing to endure, willing to trust, willing to keep showing up in the dark. And now you are the light for others still seeking their way. Let this truth sink in. The war was never meant to destroy you. It was designed to reveal you. It exposed your strength. It revealed your calling. It sharpened your discernment. It humbled you, refined you, and aligned you. Without it, you wouldn't have the authority you carry today. The war wasn't punishment. It was preparation. It confirmed you are a threat to darkness, a disruptor of patterns and a bearer of light. Every lie told about you, every closed door, every delay, every heartbreak, all of it now carries proof that you're exactly who God says you are. You are not crazy. You are not cursed. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. The war you sparked in the spiritual realm is not your shame. It is your sign. The battle over your life is heaven's reminder that your story is vital. Your light is unstoppable, and your rise is undeniable.